It's time for the GMU Good Morning Uganda. Oh, it's time for the Good Morning Uganda Extra, GMU Extra. Welcome on board and many thanks for joining us this morning as we are going to be further looking at what was highlighted from the annual crime report of 2023. But this time around, we're going to be driving it to a very interesting report that is rather making more of the headlines, though the attention is not as much as the other crimes. This does not seem to be a crime, but is rather an offense, because the cases coming in from the Uganda police in regards to traffic and road safety does show that total number of common offenses that were committed by road users, and by road users I mean drivers, pedestrians, riders, or that includes border riders as well as bicycle owners who are always using the road, and also the pedestrians. Which lanes are you using? Are they the right lanes for you to use? These are some of the offenses that we were definitely going to be looking at, and further and beyond, trying to break down to see how can we mitigate all these causes of these road offenses in the country, or traffic and road safety offenses. Now, besides that, we are also going to be looking and highlighting for you some of the total number of crashes that were highlighted in regards to the accidents on the roads across the country, and then the serious cases that were also recorded. In regards to serious, this means destruction was also part of it. Now, back to it, there is also fatal cases. Now, the fatal cases or the fatal accidents, these are cases where deaths were recorded, or accidents that actually left many disabled in the same situation, but then there are also some minor of the same. Now, when you look at the traffic and road safety, a total number of common offenses adds up to 528,025 cases of those that were recorded by the Uganda police, or the traffic police, that is a directorate under the Uganda police that is majorly looking and targeting cases on the road or road usage in the country. Then the total number of crashes that were recorded in 2023, still by the traffic police or by the Uganda police, 23,608. That's a huge number. And serious cases that were recorded or reported or registered, 12,487. We shall use registered because this is now on record in regards to the statistics. So, and then cases of fatal accidents or fatal crashes that were registered, 4,179, and then 6,942 cases were minor. Let's get into the discussion now, looking at how can we try to control these cases of traffic offenses or road usage, poor road usage by us, the Ugandans. Please be mindful that as a road user, whether you're driving or you're riding, you are still supposed to be maintaining the right code of conduct, if I'm to put it in this way, in regards to how you are moving about in the country. I have Robert Chirabonyonyi with me this morning as we are diving deeper into this particular report by the Uganda police in regards to the traffic offences. But still you can join this conversation by sharing your opinions on our WhatsApp number in regards to what should be done to control these ever-rising cases of traffic offences on Ugandan roads. Robert, a very good morning once again.
Oh, good morning, Sonko. And of course, our viewers, those that have just joined us, and those that started their morning with us, that day with us from 6:30. Thank you very much for doing that and making us a TV station of your choice. Now, Sonko, when I was listening to you read out the statistics, and I did the same at the launch because it was a live coverage, one thing came to my mind. Are these, or could they be, preventable or not? And that drives me to the words once former Inspector General of Police said, that is retired General Kale Kayihura. He said 90% of what we call accidents in Uganda are not accidents. The current or acting director, traffic directorate, Uganda Police Force, Lawrence Niwabine, also affirms this. So what we have, either serious, fatal, minor, are not actually accidents.
Okay.
These are preventable. We can do without them. We can prevent them from happening.
Or continuously.
Or continue, you know. But why aren't we preventing them from happening? I think this could be the question. That these statistics are very good. But out of these statistics, how many of those happened that they had to happen? If many of these, or let me reduce it, or half of these could have been preventable, why aren't we preventing them? That could be the biggest question that each of us must ask ourselves. Both you on individual basis, the government, other stakeholders, and the police. That the IGP should ask his men that all this good number of accidents, if 50 of them could be prevented, explain to me.
How can this be done?
Why did they happen, yet they could be preventable? That you are Ugandan, whose statistic was captured. It is now you to ask yourself, because you're watching us, but maybe this year, one of the accidents captured, you are involved, either as a passenger, or a driver, or a person in that vehicle. Now it is time to ask yourself, that accident that was captured, could it have been prevented from happening? If so, how do I make sure it doesn't happen again? Because these are preventable. Why then are they happening? That would be another cause. We have elements of people sleeping on job. We have elements of corruption. We have elements of unqualified people. We have elements that many people are not looking at critically, driving under the influence of alcohol, and of late, intoxication. We have so many people today who are consuming drugs and they are driving. And these breathalyzers may not detect these drugs. Lawrence Niwabine, Director of Traffic Acting, when he was speaking, he said most of these accidents happen on two wheels. Now, these are mostly border people. I want to tell you, Sonko, and our viewers, and one time, Minister of State for Kampala, Chofato Gabye, suggested that this will need to go for mental checkup. Offered you drive. But there is something a border man can do. And in the right sense of judgment, no person on a motorbike, under normal reasoning, can make that risk. Are you also right? But Sonko, omwana border solo yita muturela. There is some video clip that was circulating. There was a bit of jam. Now these guys were pushing bikes.
Actually, on the screen, you could easily see there are also some border accidents.
Under a trailer, yet they just have to be patient a few minutes and the green lights are seen. But no sane person in his rightful thinking would dare do that. So, it would reasonably say that this person is under the influence of drugs. Today, Sonko, many of the people who drive these long distance trucks, they're chewing cud. Someone tells you to sort of vuga trailer that only mairungi.
They are being overworked. They have no resting.
No, already others will tell you onywako kayaga. So these accidents are happening because of these factors, unqualified people. Today, leave alone chasing borders here. You just mount a super professional roadblock. How many people are driving these vehicles and they don't have permits? They don't have driving licenses. Those that do, how many of them have gone to a driving school? I drive. And many of you watching, let's not pretend, but which driving school did you go to? more so with introduction of these automated cars.
And you know, with that particular point that you've actually put across, just to take you back in regards to some of the traffic offenses that many Ugandans are defying. One is driving under the influence of alcohol. A very, very common kind of act.
Now we should
in
add
Uganda.
alcohol or drugs.
Alcohol or drugs. Then secondly, many are driving today without a driving license or permit, to put it in that way. Many just get into the bond, buy a car and hit the road because they have a 5,000 Ugandan shillings, of which we are going to also talk about the fact that why does a driver have to carry money with them if they do not have the license to drive on the road. Then secondly, we've got so many unruly border riders on the road. Not only in Kampala, by the way, even far away from the capital, especially in areas where there is not so much of the traffic, and they tend to drive recklessly, or rather ride recklessly of their borders. But then also to the pedestrians as well. How do you utilize the road or the lanes? We've been in Kampala whereby we know of these green islands in the capital, and now they are used as pathways. That is also an offense, not a traffic offense, but rather an offense in regards to how we use these particular roads. So among some of these, like Chirawa has mentioned, you get to realize that many of these are very preventable. Then you also look at the rate at which we have DMCs on our roads today. Vehicles under dangerous mechanical conditions. So vehicles under the DMC, and it's something that is also quite a huge concern as of today. One of the other reasons as to why the government was actually putting an end to certain vehicles coming into the country or being imported, especially in regards to their production date, was to prevent overly old vehicles on our streets today. But as we go into this concern of drivers, you've been mentioning the fact that many are driving under the influence of drugs. When you go into the streets of Kampala, as early as 6 in the morning, many people are just leaving the clubs or entertainment areas or bars and stuff. Many hit the road immediately after drinking something. More than 6 bottles or 10, and he's driving. But on the same road is a child going to school. We are expecting not only a child, but innocent Ugandans who are walking freely, strolling to go and earn a living the following day. And then, unfortunately, you bump into a drunkard and things go south. If you're to look at that situation, how are we preventing it? I like the fact that in your intro you did mention that these are preventable offenses. How do we start with the preventive measures? Because as much as we push for people to stop drinking under the influence of alcohol, is it high time we requested the Kaunyemu to return?
First, we look at the law itself. We have the express penalty scheme, which was good because for some offenses it would be useless or not of very great impact to tell someone park your car, then bring that person to court. So now a person has an alternative, unless it is extreme, that you're given an express penalty scheme, a penalty ticket, then you go and pay off at your convenience because you have a number of days. If it expires, if they expire, then you pay a surcharge. The ticket will attract a surcharge. But this has been greatly abused. That Sonko, if you're talking about drunken driving, if I'm told park my car, I mean park your car there. Usually for drunken driving, these operations are well lined that corruption is not so much when it comes to drunken driving. So someone is told park your car, then they are detained in the cells, then in the morning they are released, they are given a ticket to go and pay. Now, this is not deterrent enough. Ugandans have money. A person who has spent 400 in a bar, if express penalty ticket for drunken driving is going to cost him about 82,000. Is that deterrent?
No.
If these persons, majority of them are going to be assembled or paraded before court, and either serve a sentence, however small it could be. Let me tell you, brother, sleeping in that cell and putting on that uniform and going to the University of Understanding is very detrimental.
Very.
And disturbing psychological, your family and all that.
Stories of people who have been to
Yes,
prison will
and
tell you.
people will tell you,
It's never a good place.
calling your mother in the village, saying, against Ruzira, he has been taken to Chitalia. Over, you know, people expecting you at work one day, two, and they get know that you're in Ruzira because of drinking. You get it? There is a way that could do that. Borders, someone is found without a driving license. The motorcycle is impounded. It is taken to a police station. Then he's given a ticket. He goes, pays at the bank, then gives that breakdown person money, you know. Then after, he picks his motorcycle and goes. So psychologically, and with all reasoning. Now, are we fighting crime? Because Sonko, if I get an express penalty ticket and I go and I come and pick my bike, the same me without a driving license, I'm the same person picking the bike to go back on the same streets. Processing a driving license takes some good time. What if the law said if you're found without a driving license, you park that vehicle, park that car. It is only released when you come with a driving license. Everyone would dare to get a driving license because I know the price of getting a driving license may even take me 3 months or 4 months without my car. A month in the driving school, then I go for testing, processing, so it will be very deterrent. So there are also some gaps and the express over speeding. You know, someone is driving at a speed. I can have 3-4 papulars and part my convenience. So that alone has not done so much. Then, of course, one would talk about issues of corruption. Yes, no doubt. You find that sometimes, you know, with traffic offenses, it is funny. These offenses are putting you and your loved ones or passengers you're carrying in danger. But somehow, foolishly, I must say, we do not appreciate it that way as many of us. That song, if I'm stopped from over speeding, I don't see this traffic officer as saving my life and the life of others. It has never happened to me. And even in your sense of senses, you're like, but come on, first wait. This person may not have any interest apart from saving my life. Yes, they could extort money from you, but we don't appreciate that if I don't have a driving license. Today, there is so much road construction happening in this country. And you know what these companies are doing? They are using signs to tell you there is a diversion.
Yes.
To tell you there is a sharp corner.
Because in their minds, they know the road users have
Must be knowing.
Yes. They've passed through driving
Now, guess
school.
what happened? Today morning, I enjoyed a movie and paid for, though I was rushing for work. There was a sign really showing a diversion. This guy comes over, takes me so fast, but you could see the sign. Only to bump into those around Arena Mall down there. I think he thought he would use
the diversion.
But the diversion,
the ongoing works there.
The road sign of furniture has been put around here, Mukwano, showing you that where you're going. He came very fast and said, but there's nobody to tell you. I just touched my head and told him you were warned behind there. But because you're not going to a driving school, you don't know what these signs represent. But you don't understand that this benefits you to know. Because you see, road accidents have a cost on you at whatever cost. You either die, either losing an arm, killing somebody, injuring somebody, damaging your own vehicle, or damaging someone's vehicle.
True.
At the end of the day, it comes back to you, or even inconveniencing your time. You know, me, let's wait for police, let's go to the garage, all that. So Ugandans will fail to appreciate and understand the traffic laws, unlike the criminal bit of it. These aim at protecting you. When I'm told to put on a helmet as a rider, I'm not going to have this cheap talk that there is some investor now who has brought elements helmets. There's an investor now who has brought reflector jackets. There's an investor now who has brought or riding shoes. There's an investor now. Yet yes, he has brought helmets. But when I'm on a motorcycle and I have an accident, this arm, they can't work on it. People have had broken arms.
True.
And they have gone to orthopedics, all these other local people who work on the bones.
And
but when my head has a problem, teba yunga mutwe. If it's shattered, so this helmet is meant to protect me. But because people don't appreciate, that's why you see a border person, he has a helmet, puts it in front of the motorcycle, he sees a traffic officer, then puts it on. Or he has something looking like an helmet, but there is nothing protective there.
Well, of course, before we go into the break, I just want to share with you the WhatsApp number, 0709-602-592. Share your views and opinions on what you think should be done in order to curb these particular offenses on the road. How can we prevent them first, and then what penalties can be put in place to ensure that we do not have these continuous sorts of accidents being recorded in the country. I am still with Chirawa Robert Nyonyi Ntono as we try to understand and break down for you this particular report that was released by the Uganda police yesterday for the annual crime report 2023. But pretty much our observation this time round is looking into the traffic offenses that were clocking 600,000 by the look of the numbers here. So stick around as more is yet to come. We return shortly after the break, but keep your opinions coming through. I'll be reading and going through some of those and sharing them with the rest of the countrymen.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome to Dade Nursery and Primary School, Luzira, a school that gives your child a positive learning environment that makes them feel comfortable and safe. We are a progressive year-round nursery and primary school, providing a child-centered approach to early learning, collaborative family atmosphere, and a safe, inspiring environment that encourages exploration and creativity. Dade Nursery and Primary School offers a wide range of co-curricular activities that promote teamwork, physical and mental development, including ballet, soccer, basketball, piano, and home economics. Admissions are in progress from baby class to P7, starting from the 8th of January to the 5th of February 2024. Find us at the first left turn after Oryx Service Station towards Luzira.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Have you packed more with Harbour jelly and Harbour foam?
Yes, we packed.
It will protect your skin from skin rashes.
More with pack.
It is a new improved more with Harbour jelly. So soft and smooth.
It is a Morbid Harbour jelly.
Tell me, kids, the sense. Any irritations? No more rashes and irritations. Movit Harbour Jelly and Harbour Soap is rich in natural herbs for a smooth and glowing skin.
Movit All Day Confidence. This weekend on UBC.
The grace needs to knock people out. The funniest thing or the irony of it all is, Pastor Cyrus, you could have been raised by a single mom.
Yeah.
And you're so terrible to your wife.
And you know what I say? I was raised by a single mother. And I don't even have time to appreciate a woman. I totally forgotten that I was raised by a single mother, and now I'm just doing what my father did. I don't know how to be a man.
This weekend on UBC. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
$528,025 total of common offences that were reported and then registered by the Uganda police last year of 2023. Welcome back to our Good Morning Extra conversation here with Robert Chirabo and I, Joram Paul Sonko. 23,608 total number of crashes that were registered. 12,487 of these were serious. And then 4,179 were fatal cases of the same, and 6,942 were minor, which clearly shows you that the crashes, as seen on the sidelines of our screen this morning, in regards to what the CCTV footage was recording of the serious, accidents that occur on some parts of Ugandan roads. Now, imagine those are some of those in areas where CCTV cameras are functional or are being centered. But now, how about areas where we do not have any to record such scenarios? You can share with us an opinion on how we can deal with these offenses on our WhatsApp number. Just to remind you of the WhatsApp number, that is 0709-602-592, for you to give us your view and opinion on the same. I'll be going through your opinions, one or two, at the end of our discussion this morning, as we try to understand what better way can we deal with these traffic offenses, or how can we best prevent the cases of accidents on Ugandan roads today. You and I can be victims any day, anytime. But if we can exercise our duties rightfully and also with enough discipline, then we can put an end to these particular cases that have actually led to death of loved ones, and as well as leading to many heading to hospitals as we speak right now. So these are cases that we would not wish to continue reporting, or at least if we were to report, they should be coming in as a very minimal as it should be. So something to do with an accident is not something that you would wish for anyone, because the repercussions or the outcomes are never easy to deal with. They are always long-term or short-term, but long-term effects are never something good, if you are to ask me. Of course, I'm seeing some comments coming through, but we'll be going through some of those later on as well as we continue. For those who are sending in via SMS, please do as well. I will be going through those comments. Well, Chirabo, back here as we are looking into discussions of the traffic violations on Ugandan roads. There's also among the offenses that we have today, from you've mentioned the border riders. Very
that are
risky.
leading.
Very risky. Let's look at the pedestrians' perspective today. At times, not only the pedestrians, also the passengers in, let's say, the taxis, buses, or passenger, service vehicles, whatever you may put it. At times, we tend not to pay attention to how these drivers are kind of, handling themselves on the road. The overspeeding rate. You're seated in a taxi, and then the driver is overspeeding. But then you're more comfortable, and you don't really care about the outcomes of the same. The pedestrians, some of them cross the road without paying attention to where the vehicle is coming from and where they're actually going. It's all about just moving. Obviously, there are reasons as to why certain people just cross. Maybe someone is stressed and the like. But again, you have to be very vigilant and very attentive to where you're going. So how do we deal with such cases from the pedestrian's perspective and the passengers? Now, this is the third party I'm looking at.
Now, very important to note is that when you're on the road, the moment you're moving out of your house and you're going to go anywhere, know that you're the only sane person on the road. And the rest are insane. So, someone is not out there to protect your life. It is you to protect your life. I've seen pedestrians and I really wonder. Let me start with you, the youth. Someone is walking and they have these, what do you call them, Sonko?
Headsets
Nowadays they weren't
and
there.
headsets
They were-
and earpods.
some are very big. Those big ones that cover the entire ear. And you call it swag. And this person is moving. Some have earphones, very small. But you see him even as they are moving, as if they are meditating. Tali kunsi.
Focuses on what
It is on
he's
the
listening.
music. Moving in pere, yoni and pere. Huh? You now look at this one. Even if they hoot, you won't hear. Even if a vehicle, even if people are shouting behind you that a vehicle is coming, you won't hear because you're into the music. You're into this program. You're not concentrating at all. Some are jogging. Jogging is not bad. You know, but someone is jogging on a busy road, you know, with headphones running and running. It is stylish. But remember, the countries where sometimes we are copying this, they have proper pedestrian lanes. Respected. Now you are watching a movie, you saw this lady going out for jogging, putting on those skimpy good clothes, then she puts them on. Even the road where she's passing is isolated, but has a proper lane for pedestrians. You're in Uganda, you're doing the same. Second, when you're a pedestrian and you're walking, if you're going right, which side of the road should you be? Is it advisable for you to walk when moving towards vehicles coming to you? Or should you walk when you're leaving vehicles behind you? What do I mean? If cars are taking this direction, here am I, I'm a pedestrian. Should I move in the same direction of the same side of the road where cars are heading towards? So these cars are coming behind me. Or should I walk the opposite direction where, as these cars are coming, I'm also going? You get it? For drivers, you drive towards where you're going. For pedestrians, you walk looking at vehicles coming towards you. Do you know why? It is easier for you to see a car that has lost control when it is coming towards you. It is easier for you to see an accident coming or the reaction force of cars knocking each other and you move away. You find someone, he's doing what a car should do. You're going this direction, vehicles are coming behind you. You're on that side of the road instead of being on the opposite side of the road as a pedestrian. Passengers, we forget to program our journeys. I don't know how many times I've had someone come at a border stage and they're saying, ndikubwangu, ani amvuga speed. I'm in a hurry. Who can deliver me to my destination very, very fast? The moment they sit, muganda wange, yangu ya, obudde bunkutte yangu wa, ngenda kukola shetandika saa 12. Hurry up. So, this man came to make money. I've had many in these buses. Are we going to reach at night? You give someone a lift. Mukuru, envuga yosi ya myaka jo. You know, they want you to go fast. The various distractions. And I want to urge security and the traffic police. This nonsense, you find a van because they are footballers, they are school children, they are campus. Inside the vehicle, there is so much distraction of the driver, not caused by the driver, of the driver. The Sonko's Victoria University has defeated Nkumba University, you know. Then they are dancing, making also. No wonder we have many school vans overturning and all this.
We have trip companies in the country, domestic trip companies, where
taking tourists.
Tourists on top of coasters.
On top of coasters.
More so domestic.
Domestic. Now I have where they have offers. Young youth, young couples.
And people are just jumping out of the windows.
Out, sitting everywhere, obstructing the driver. Sometimes, this may be very simple, but I've ever seen it. Even the talk in the car. Sometimes the driver shouldn't be so much soaked into the talk of the car. Someone brings a hot topic in relation to the driver, you know, and they're even asking him, I'm a driver, tell us. On border motorcycles, this guy is riding you. But you're in Chibozi most of the time. You're distracting him, then he begins, I'm not hearing, he turns the head, he wants to be in the conversation. So we are not mindful, we don't respect the road as we should respect it. Pedestrians and passengers. I've been in some times when I'm moving up country and I choose to use public means, and someone makes a statement in something. It's a stupid, I don't know how it ends very well, but they mean like, instead of delaying along the way, I rather delay in hospital. Admitted. And you turn, because you're telling the driver, boss, don't drive us like that. You would have driven your car. For us we are going to Tugenakusubula and all that. Passengers have a great impact. Sometimes, dress code. Sometimes, sisters, sometimes, on a lighter note. You see, concentration, when you're driving, that's why it said, even if you're not in the proper sense of driving, do not drive. If I feel so stressed, I don't ride. I don't drive. I get a border, I get Uber. Why? I've had people who have what we call preventable accidents, and he tells you, I just woke up when the car's overturned. One time we were going to Gulu as bikers. Then a friend of mine in front of me, I saw him enter a potato garden. And the motorcycle overturned. I was like, but what happened? He said, brother, I don't know, I just saw myself from here. What were you thinking of? You see, I've left home, my wife doesn't know I'm going for a tour. He had so much on his mind. And he's on a two-wheeler, going a long distance. So, your proper sense should be in the right stance. That's why you see, when you see government hiring drivers for these VIPs, it is not just to boast people who have made money having chauffeurs, drivers, and all that. It's not just prestigious to say, I have a driver. There is so much that this person has. He has a meeting here, he hasn't prepared notes. So let him concentrate on his laptop as he's being driven. So passengers, more so pedestrians, which side of the road are you moving? How? Second, are you sure you're free of any distraction? Talking on phone today has become an issue. Someone is walking, he's on phone, he crosses the road. I don't know if you've witnessed this. Someone is crossing the road. Then someone stands in the middle of the road. This not only applies to people, this gadget not only applies to people who are driving, but even people walking. Someone's in the public means, he has dominated everyone. A person speaks, he's seated next to the driver of a 14-seater. But the man, from the time they enter the taxi park, he's on phone. The conversations are almost involving everybody. Concentration of people has been compromised of the driver. So there's a very big problem that they must also address. No wonder in this report we see a number of pedestrians that were killed. They weren't driving. They were moving alongside the road.
Well, let me get through some of the comments coming in here. This morning, I'll start off with someone who has sent a message on SMS. Please do leave your name. This one says it's Ugandans just being with a high level of carelessness. I think the carelessness is part of it, and we should as well try to control it. I do have another comment saying, good morning. Yesterday I took a border. Little did I know that he was drunk. The traffic police officers are using mobile money as the cheapest way of getting bribes. People are getting permits without necessarily going to driving school. Just go with 500 shillings per cash to police who stamp this letter before getting permits. Trust me, one day you will have a permit. I want to differ from his opinion though, but I will be coming in because with the traffic, with the permit, there's quite some
There's
strict
been a
rules,
very
really.
big improvement now.
There's a huge improvement there. Now, this one says, the problem is the traffic police officers. I'm a driver who is very well versed with traffic laws and regulations. Kudos to you. But one day a traffic officer stopped me on Ginger Road, around about where I had just joined the Yusuf Lule Road and demanded Chitu Kidogo. Well, I think that is the lane that as you're actually crossing also to the to those who are heading to the Jonah Babi Avenue, Garden City, around there. I think this is where he's actually meaning. He says, unfortunately, I didn't have 10,000 in my pocket and I was with my boss. When I refused to give him Chitu Kidogo, he slapped me with a 100,000 penalty for careless driving. Wow. After that, he told me to my face that Sebo Muvugaba China Muloza Fetunaliawa. I requested that the police cameras be allowed to get law-breaking drivers like it is done in the US and Canada.
Body cam cameras.
The body
on their
cam
bodies,
cameras, I think, to first deal with corruption on our roads between traffic police and motorists. I'm a senior driver, Sunday Stephen Kagera from Boyogerere. Okay, thank you very much, Sunday. Then the other comment is coming in. This one is saying, morning. You didn't leave you didn't leave your name. Thanks for the program. Traffic police must take their responsibility and reduce on bribery from people who don't have permits, because most of those guys are tanmen, okay, and others are actually guys who work with Bakanabe, who work with car washing, who do the car washing stuff. Then this one says, good morning, Amos from Gulu. All this happens because of being super impatient while driving, a very critical one, by the way. Riding and pedaling and poor planning. Then Oken Peter says, good morning, viewers. We need to instill discipline in our people right from childhood. Very right. So the biggest problem we have currently is because Ugandans are very indisciplined, ranging from our elders who use the roads down to us, the road users. People don't respect the traffic laws, yet we have them in place. Leaders driving on the opposite side of the road. Self-discipline is very important in days today. This is Oken Peter. Thank you very much. One last comment. Is it possible for a driver to drive while playing music in the vehicle? I'm Jacob Ochen Omech from Dokolo. It depends on the rate, because people have vehicles have radios. Really.
Have you ever been in Kenya matatus?
I haven't. I was in Kenya.
The music there you can run.
But Jirabo, in a minute, as we're summing up here, I want your comment on two things. One, the rate at which the traffic officers are taking bribes. And people actually saying at times they slap them penalties even when they are not in wrong, simply because they haven't given them some kitu kidogo. And then, secondly, the rate at which we are impatient, especially road users. I was able to notice that during the festive season, many people or many road users were very patient with the way they were using the road. Or is it because there was less traffic? I don't know. But also for people who have actually been able to use Bukoto around the old Kira Road, you get to realize that those drivers are some of the most patient people I've ever seen in Uganda. Most people who actually use that lane, they pay attention to the traffic lights. You will not see anyone trying to overtake anyone. So I think kudos to the people who live in those ends. But Chirabo, in a minute, as we're summing
First, I want to thank all traffic officers, men and women, who are doing their job professionally, because there are so many who just stop you and caution you. And of course, their bosses. Katwe Police Station, Traffic Department, you're doing so much good work. I must thank you for that. But we need to plan our journeys on time. I think this impatience thing comes from there. You're like, with a motorcycle, I'll be there in a few minutes. With this car, I'll be there in a few minutes. Plan your journey well so that you get to your destination in good shape.
Okay. All right. One of the few comments as well. Big trucks should at least have 2 drivers to minimize accidents caused by fatigue. You didn't leave your number. This is SMS. Then the other says he's not... Well, thank you very much for your comments as well. Someone says that sometimes we have issues with the police as well. this is something, well, you have to bear as well at times with the police, how you also handle yourselves with them. Why would you carry a kitu kidogo if you know you have your permit, if you know your car is well serviced, and also if you know you're driving following the rules, the traffic rules and regulations. For the other comments, many thanks for joining us this morning and for sending your views and opinions on the same. Till tomorrow, we do this same time from 6:30 a.m. with Good Morning Uganda till this hour of 10 o'clock. Have a good day. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra. This weekend on UBC.
The grace needs to knock people out.